Walls throughout halls of a Four Seasons loft. In Austin, I saw her pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, focus reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving that rain in the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know our purpose. In paradise, in paradise. We know what our worth is. In paradise, in paradise. We manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you conceive.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Today, we're going to be talking about Baker Mayfield once again. He was on a podcast yesterday, and to be honest, I don't get Baker. I don't know if he just can't help himself or what, but once again, he's not getting a good look for himself. And it is his birthday today, so maybe that's why he apparently did this. He did this podcast with, apparently, obviously it's his friends that he's trying to promote or whatever, kind of like Aaron Rodgers did with his buddy. So I guess that's what he was trying to do, is give him some friends some lift on their podcast that he comes on, and people are going to watch, which of course everybody in the media was watching, so they could come out and blast him today. And I just, I don't know if he just doesn't get it, or he's just trying to lift himself up, trying to make himself feel better about who he is. Baker, if the Browns say that they want an adult in the room, this is why. You if you're gonna do an interview, do it with someone who has some sort of clout, somebody who has something. Just don't come out and just because it's in social media and you can just go out and just, oh well, I'm just gonna say whatever I want to say to who, and let my friends, my yes guys, yes sir, yeah Brad, yeah. That doesn't work. And if you're trying to establish yourself as a different guy, that what the Browns said wasn't true, that's not what you accomplished here. What you accomplished is exactly what the Browns were saying. You go on this podcast with these dudes. This dog is laying there next to you, rolled over on his back. You're talking about how you don't like being booed by the fans. Well, bro, you're a quarterback. Now, they didn't boo you at the University of Oklahoma because you were just outstanding. But this is the next level. And even in college or high school, if you don't play well, you will get booed. People pay a lot of money to come watch you play so you can make $18 million. They have the right to boo you. Now, as a former player, did I enjoy getting booed? Hell no. I hated it as well. But, bro, it is what it is. You have to deal with it. You have to take the bumps. You've got to take all the cheering along with the boos. It's not like they hate you. They're just mad at whatever's happening at that particular moment. That's where they're at. Bro, you have to step up. You have to understand, and you do understand, but I just, are you doing this to motivate yourself to put that chip on your shoulder? Like when you walked in at Texas Tech, and then Patrick Mahomes came and took your spot. Then you went to University of Oklahoma, had 3 fantastic years under Stoops and Lincoln Riley, winning, I think, 3 straight Big 12 championships, winning the Heisman, being the number 1 overall pick, having a good year your rookie year. Second year was not so good. Third year, you win a playoff game. Fourth year, you played hurt. Now, granted, nobody wants to hear you come out and say that you didn't have your confidence. You don't say that. But like I said earlier, this week when we were talking about you, and I've said in the past, every time I bring your name up and I discuss you, you should have had the surgery. Yes, we understand that you bet on yourself, just like Dak did, who we'll be discussing later. Yes, we understand that you played hurt. But what you did is you put a bunch of bad tape. And no matter where you go, you're not going to have the offensive line that you had. You're not going to have Kareem Hunt and Chubb in the background. You're not going to have running backs. You're not going to have Ojeko and Austin Hooper and those guys. You're not going to have that. And you did have OBJ, even though you couldn't hit it. I mean, you whatever reason y'all just didn't connect. And then you had Jarvis Landry, whom you connected with quite a bit. You had a very good defense. You're not going to get that in Seattle if that's where you end up. And Seattle has already said they're not going to give up anything for you. They're going to roll with what they've got. And Drew Lock can't play. And you've gone from an offensive coach. If you go there, you're going to go to a defensive-minded coach in his 70s who's locked in on what he wants to do and what he wants to accomplish. He got rid of Russell. He got rid of Russell for that, Russell Wilson. So your options are going to be limited now as a starting quarterback. But the question now, are you going to go back to being a starting quarterback, or are you going to be a bridge guy, or are you going to be a backup? Are you even going to be in the league? Bro, this is one of the worst things you can do. And in this social media age, people make mistakes all the time. The best thing you can do is just be quiet. And if you're going to go speak, you go to speak to someone who's going to ask you questions that are going to help your image. Not that you sit back with your legs crossed next to a dog and unprofessional and look like crap, the whole thing. Dude, you did not help yourself one bit. You did not make yourself look like, if I'm a GM, I'm not thinking, oh, that's the guy I want. Look at him. And once again, granted, I'm with you. You should not have played. You were hurt. Yes, we understand you played to show everybody how committed you were to the team. But all you did was put out bad tape. That's all you did. And now, granted, does Cleveland Browns have some? They need to own up to their responsibility. Now, they said they did talk to your agent, told him that they were going to pursue some different options, which were obviously clearly Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Deshaun Watson. Those were clearly three guys they were going to go after because all three of those guys were available. Now, you finding out about their visit on social media. Now, did that affect you? Should that have hurt you? Yes. Did they disrespect you? Maybe it was unfortunate the way everything happened and the way everything was found out. But did you really get disrespected? Kinda. Depends on how you want to look at it. But if they already told you they were going after someone, they already told you, you were aware of that they were trying to upgrade from you. Did that really disrespect you? Or was it the fact that everybody knew the same time you did that they were flying down in the jet to talk to Deshaun? Sometimes we have to own up to what is happening. We have to own up to what our responsibilities are. And you sound just like Johnny Manziel. You sound just like Russell Westbrook. Everybody else. You can't go in there and talk about, oh, well, you go in the next locker room, you're just going to be you. You need to change who you are. Bro, you didn't have one guy, not one, from the locker room say something. Not one. You didn't have one person speak up for you. You're the quarterback. There's 60 people in that room. You didn't have one? Not one? Some guys ain't even there anymore. They could have spoke up. You didn't have one. And now you're talking about going to them. You're going to be who you are. You don't care if people like you or not as long as they win. Yeah, it matters if they like you. In your position. Now, I've discussed it before that it's a locker room. In basketball, not everybody gets along with everybody. Football, not everybody gets along with everybody. Everybody. Baseball, not everybody. Soccer, whatever. Everybody doesn't get along with everybody. No question about that. But at the same time, you got to have some people who like you. You got to have somebody on your side, somebody there with you. And Baker, I don't see anybody on your side, bro. I don't see anybody looking at Baker Mayfield going, man, he's our dude. He's gonna be our guy. I don't see anybody doing that. I see everybody excited about Deshaun being there. Now all of a sudden, people are wanting to come there and take less money so they can catch the ball from him, whatever that is. And to me, why wouldn't you be cooler about it? Because if Deshaun is coming, they've got to pay you the 18, 19 million. Why wouldn't you take the backup role, play for those first 7 or 8 games, or 6 games, or however many he's going to be suspended, put some good tape out there. Somebody then all of a sudden goes, hey, the old Baker Mayfield from the year before, from your third year when you took him to and won a playoff game at Pittsburgh. That would maybe somebody in your circle could have told you that. Maybe that you could have conveyed that to the Browns, like, okay, well, you got him. Okay, cool. Let's do it this way. Let me start these first games. I'll come back. I'll play. I'll get us where we need to be. Then we can move on. You got Deshaun when he comes back and just move me on somewhere else. That's a pliable option. But you didn't even take that. Why? Because you wanted out. Why? Because you felt disrespected. Then you go on this podcast and just it was a terrible look for you, bro. You can't do that. You can't just do what you just did. You're not Aaron Rodgers. You can't go on a podcast and do the things that you try to do and do the things and say the things you said. And what cracks me up is you're upset because you got booed, really. And what was the comment? The real Browns fans knew you gave everything. The real Browns fans, they're all Browns fans. That team, for 20 something years, they were the worst franchise in all of sports. But what did they do? Those people dressed up in their dog uniforms, their dog outfits, got the dog pound, and knew they were going to lose. They didn't win a game. Packed. They love their Browns. And I can tell you, if the Oklahoma City Thunder were in, winning 5 or 6 games or 10 games every year, or 15 games, I don't know how many people were going to go watch that. But those Browns fans, 40,000 strong, 50,000 strong, every Sunday, doing their tailgating, supporting their team, even though they were terrible. And then you're going to say that real Browns fans, I think they've got some of the realest fans in the league. Not being an adult, you pretty much showed exactly what they were saying. You lost value. I don't know who's talking to you. I don't know who's giving you advice. It must be Antonio Brown's people. He done the same one stupid thing after another. Social media is not necessarily the best thing every time. Now you can use it to your benefit. You're trying to do what Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he got a benefit. He got his $50 million. At what cost? He lost Devontae Adams. And they're not even trying to go out and get anybody because they're saying, hey, you know what, bro? Go ahead. You wanted this, we got it. Now what you gonna do? You paid $50 million. We can't pay for anybody else. Go ahead. At some point, you got to take responsibility and go, hey, it was my fault. Hey, this is what happened. And most of all, it's the NFL. They're the most brutal business of all professional sports, the NFL. Basketball, guaranteed contracts. Baseball, guaranteed contracts. Football, 60%. Even though Deshaun got his all guaranteed. Those days aren't happening. That was the Browns trying to do whatever to get away from you to get him, which they shouldn't have done. But Jimmy Haslam admits he ain't the best owner in the world, clearly. Why would you guarantee a contract for a guy? 230 mil. That's insane. Anyway, let's talk about Jerry. The next, the Cowboys. Another dysfunctional franchise. Jerry comes on, talks about how great a contract that he did and how he's glad that he got Dak early. Well, bro, let's think about that, what you're talking about. His contract is just to 2025. It's 3 years. 2 more years, you got to re sign him again. Instead of 2 years ago or 3 years ago, well, you should have signed him. And you didn't think you had a guy, had the right guy. That's why you didn't. Come on now. You didn't think, you didn't have confidence in him. And even though he played terrible down the stretch, New England, uh, and then the Philly playing against backups, third, fourth stringers, couldn't win to get into the playoffs. So what you do? Franchise him again. He has wins one game, and then all of a sudden you're paying him all this money because y'all went in the toilet. Now you did get CD Lamb out of it, so it's not. I guess it's not all that so bad. But on the side of that, guess what? That last year you got to pay him $52 million. So whatever's renegotiation comes up, that's where you're starting at. Whereas a few years ago, you could have paid him the 30 something, and you'd be starting there at 38 or whatever million, right, or 40 million, right, in 3 years from now. But instead, you're at 52 is where you're starting at. And I think Dak's a good guy. He ain't worth $50 million, $52 million. No way. Now, are you going to go get Sean Payton next year? I would think. He lives in Dallas, has a home there. I'm assuming that you're going to get him, Sean, after his 1 year is up. At New Orleans, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. He's going to jump right in there because Dallas has pretty much a lot of weapons. But you got to go get him a left tackle to protect him because couldn't pay one of them. The other one's hurt, done. Couldn't afford to pay one. So you got to go get him a left tackle in the draft. You got to go get you another wide receiver. You lost Randy Gregory. He's got to be able to throw the ball to somebody other than CD. And let's face it, you have a horrible contract you got with your number one running back. Or I guess he's number one or number two, whatever you want to call him now. Zeke. What you going to do with that? Cowboys in a world of hurt. And I'm sorry, $52 million for Dak Prescott. I think he's great. I think he's a good guy. But $52 million for him, everybody talks about the TV contract. Oh, the money's coming up. You're still taking up a significant part of your payroll. Now, your option is to give him a raise, and then you're going to be up at 60-something million by the time he's done because he's only going to be 31. What you going to do then? You're going to either have to go find your quarterback in the draft, because remember, next year there's a bunch of them, but they're going to be gone by the time. Well, they may not be gone because, who knows what you guys are going to do this year. You guys are in a world of hurt there, Jerry. What are you guys going to do? How are you going to overcome the things that you're doing right now? How are you going to overcome that salary in 3 years? Because you got to pay Dak, or you got to back up off him. If you're going to back up off him, you better go get you another guy. You better be developing somebody underneath him, because you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And most of it's going to be guaranteed with the way that everything's going because of Deshaun's contract. Now, on the other side of that, you have somebody like Derek Carr, who just signed a 3-year, $121 million extension with the Raiders. But what has Derek Carr done? 4 straight years of 4,000 yards. And I don't think Derek gets enough credit for being the quarterback he is, but guess what he's got? His old college roommate, his old college guy, his old college wide receiver, Devontae Adams. And at the time they were there, they hooked up for more touchdowns than any quarterback receiver duo in college. They're back together again. You've got a great tight end. You got a good running back, decent line. Raiders are gonna be right in there. Now he's only getting 40 million, and I promise you, Dak's gonna want all his money because of the way you treated him in the first place. Had you take care of him before, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in, but you disrespected him. So now he's got you over a barrel. And yeah, he's gonna make you pay. Anybody would. You would. I would. You gonna screw me over? Okay, I'm gonna make you pay, and he should, and nobody's mad at him for it. But he's not worth that much money. He's just not. Just like Baker, I understood with the Browns. He wasn't worth 40 something million. He's just not. He's a $30 million guy. That's where he's at. That's where Dak is at. He's a $30 million guy. Next contract, he's a $40 million guy. He's not a 55, $60 million guy, which is what you're gonna have to pay him if you want to keep him. Which is insane. And I just look at that and I just go, man, what the hell is going on with football? What the hell are these guys thinking? But when I look at Derek Carr, sure, I'm going to pay Derek Carr that, no question. He's worth every penny of it. Derek Carr is probably one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Dak is not. Dak's 11 to 15. But he's not making 11, 15 money. So, Jerry, yeah, you got a good deal. You signed him early, no doubt. But what you're going to do in 3 years when he rested, when you got to pay him again? Because you got to pay him again. And Dak is not going to give you a break. Dak's going to beat you over the head. He's going to put you in a bag and beat you as many times as he can, like a pinata. He's just going to hit that thing and hit that thing and hit that thing until you burst open and give him money because of the way you disrespected him 3 years ago. You should have paid him early. You saw what you were going to get. You could have paid him, and you didn't. And now what you're going to do? Sean Payton. That's your answer. And it's not a bad answer because I love Sean Payton. And I think Sean Payton's going to be able to get the most out of Dak. If you get Sean, which I'm sure you will. Mike McCarthy's a one-year deal. I mean, come on, let's face it, he's a lame duck coach. But, Jerry, you're getting long in the tooth. And your window is closing for the Super Bowl. You had your best chance this year, didn't get it done. All right, everybody, we're going to take a break right now and take a look at our sponsors. We're getting ready to add more coming up in the next couple weeks. So I want to thank everybody for supporting the Unpopular Hour and After the Storm thus far. So everybody stick with me. I'll be right back after this break. Everybody, and welcome back to the Unpopular Hour. I'm your host, Matt Clark, and second part of our show today, we're going to be talking about NBA, of course, because it's like I said, it's my favorite time of the year: March Madness, NBA playoffs, start of baseball. I mean, I've got to get excited about it because basketball's going to be over pretty quickly. And what do we got to do? We got to talk about baseball. Now we will be baseball, so we will be adding guests. I'm going to have some people who are you might know. You're going to know who they are, no question, who are going to be joining me via Zoom, and then a couple of people who want to come up and do something. We're going to go to Tulsa and do some things because my boy R.W. McQuarters, he wants to be on the show. Once again, we're congratulating him on making the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to go talk to my boy William Tisdale. He's going to be on the show. And we're going to probably add some of these Tulsa people, OU people, and OSU. And we're going to have, different guys coming on from all the different eras from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and up. So a lot of them you'll know, and some of them you want. But then we're going to have, I've got friends who aren't well known, but extremely knowledgeable when it comes to sports. Extremely knowledgeable when it comes to sports. So we're going to have those guys on. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about different things. And, so we're going to have those guys on. And you guys are going to like talking to them. Some of you guys will know some of them. but it's a chance for them to show their knowledge about what we're going to be talking about as far as the NBA or baseball. And of course, once the NBA starts, we have those 4, 5, 6 weeks where we have baseball, but we will be discussing football because the draft will be coming on. Who are the teams? They'll be having training camp, rookie camp, all that. So we'll be discussing upcoming football and OU and OSU, what's going to be happening with those guys. But where it stands right now, let's talk a little bit about the NBA and let's talk about what's going to be happening tomorrow, which are the NBA playing games. And when you look at it, the Pelicans and the Clippers tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Of course, these are all Central Standard Times in Atlanta, and the Cavs. And what's so funny is uh, Atlanta just smashed the Hornets last night, and I was surprised. I thought between Melo and Trey it would be a better game, but like I said, I did pick Trey, and our boy Drew Henthorne had picked Atlanta in his Drew picks from HuskerDrewPicks.com. He had picked them to win, and Atlanta smashed them. And of course, the Cavaliers lost to Kevin Durant and and the Nets, and so we'll be talking about that as well. But tomorrow night, Atlanta versus the Cavs, the early game. That's going to be an interesting game between the two. I think that I'm probably going to take and roll with Trey again in that for Atlanta to beat the Cavaliers. I just think Atlanta, he's a beast inside. He should win the rookie of the year, by the way, Evan Mobley from the Cavaliers. But I do think that Atlanta has shooters. They've got shooters all over the place. They got the big boy in the middle. I think Clint Capella. And so I think this is going to be an interesting match, but I don't know if the Cavaliers can match up. The question is if Jalen Green's going to play. If he plays, I think the Cavs will have an outside shot at them. If he does not play, I think Atlanta will handle their business against the Cavs. And on the other side of that, the Pelicans and the Clippers. I don't know if you guys have seen those shots of Zion dunking the ball, but he looks over 300 pounds. He's a big boy. Dude, you're never going to survive in the NBA unless you lose some weight. He's got to get in shape. But of course, his father-in-law is pulling all the strings on that deal, just like he did at Duke, get them the house and everything that they got over there. And nothing happened to Duke with that, which is just amazing to me. And OSU gets put on probation, which is still just stupid. Even though I do understand, we hired a guy which the NCAA feels with the intention of cheating, and so that's why we got penalized for that. But on the other side of that, the Clippers. Once again, we talked about the Thunder and what that means to the Thunder. And remember, we're all against the Clippers tomorrow night. Okay, we're all Pelicans fans tomorrow night. And we talked about why. Remember, we talked about the Thunder and their chances and what all needs to happen with that for the Thunder to be able to uh, do what they needed to do. So for me, it's important that when you look at the Thunder and here's their 2021 draft class: Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, Aaron Wiggins, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. What does that tell you? That tells me right there that the Thunder have the best chance right now to add to their 2021 class because this class is very strong and it gives them all the opportunity to come in and add to that draft class of 2021 because this draft class is good. But you've got those four plus we've got one of the best point guards in the NBA and Shea Gillis Alexander. So our team is pretty much set. We just need some 3-and-D guys, but we need a couple rim protectors. Or we need a rim protector. Now, Sar, he's 7 foot and he is getting better, but he just doesn't quite move his feet and he's not big enough yet, but he does alter shots, which you do want. So he's not a bad guy to have a rim protector, but you need somebody who can also defend block shots, but it can actually defend somebody in the pick and roll. And then on top of that, somebody can actually be a scoring threat. So you really need that. And Roby did step up. Count to him, but Roby's only 6'8", 6'8", 6'9". Not big enough to do anything inside. Doesn't move his feet well enough to be a post. And that's kind of what we had. And the Thunder are really good. It's like 6'4" to 6'8". We're set. But we need to be 6'10" to 7 foot set. So, and then of course we'll be on my other show after the storm. We'll be talking more about the Thunder and what they should do and what are their options. But when you look at that, we've talked about the Thunder and how important it is that the Clippers lose. Because if the Clippers lose, it makes a huge uh, it makes a huge thing for us from the simple fact that uh, what that gives us. Because remember, when you look at the draft order, this is where everybody's standing right now. And the top four teams have the fourth greatest chances to get the number one overall draft. And so that's going to be huge for us to be able to have that opportunity to get in there and get that done. So we shall see. But I do believe that the Thunder, we have a chance to get that. But let me see if I can find. Uh, and of course, like I said, we talked about here are the worst records. Uh, Here are the draft picks that are available. And when you look at that, man, it's like, boy, there's some talent there. There's some ability for the Thunder to come in and get some players. And so I'm excited about that, about what the Thunder can do or possibly can do with that. Because remember, if the Clippers lose, the Thunder already have the fourth best chance in the lottery. If the Clippers lose, that means we get their pick, which is the 12th. So we'll have the fourth overall best chance to get the number one pick and the 12th overall chance to get the number one pick, which is important. Why? It's important for us to hopefully the Clippers to lose. And then on top of that, we still have the 30th overall pick. Now, if the Clippers win, then we get the 15th and we're outside the lottery, and then we've just got to hopefully get good enough to where we can get one of the top four picks, one of, if not the top pick. But like I said, we'll go over that in detail on my show after the storm, and then right before the draft, we're gonna go in really detail on this. But up until then, we will be talking about what's happening with that, what the standings are, what we have a chance, who I think we should pick, who can help us. So we're gonna go more in depth with that. But like I said, everybody today, we are what? We are Clipper fans. We're Clipper fans today or tomorrow night. We want the Clippers to lose. We want the Thunder to step in and win, and that's what we need, and that's what we need to happen. And I think it will. I think that I'm excited about what's going to happen in the play-in game because when you look at it, the Pelicans can beat the Clippers because of what the Pelicans have right there. And C.J. McCollum is just a beast. And you've got the Brandon Ingram playing well. You have Valanciunas playing well. So that big three they've got is really they're really going hard right now. It's an opportunity for us, excuse me, to be able to win this game. But more importantly, or excuse me, not for us, but for the Pelicans to win the game, and for us, the Thunder, it's extremely important to add on to what we already have because us getting another chance at a Kevin Durant is not going to have. I don't see anybody being a Kevin Durant in this draft. So that gives the Thunder an opportunity to get better, to add to the 2021 draft because 2020 was terrible, 2019 terrible. I mean, not terrible, terrible, but not very good because you basically got Maladon, you got Baisley, and you got Poku out of that. And of those, the only one you've got to keep is Poku because he has potential, but he's big. He's not going to have any weight. He can't have the ball, but he plays in an up and down game. That's not what we do when we have our guys out there. When you have SG out there, we slow the ball down. We're very methodical. We take our time, and of course, SGA can finish in the paint. So we need shooters because once people start collapsing on him, he can kick the ball out. We can have somebody knock down shots. So it's important that we have that, guys, and that we have somebody we go in there and pound and block shots and be able to defend the post. Because every team you see that's in the playoffs that's viable, they have what? They have at least two guys who can score. They have at least a big man who can rim protect. I'm talking about the ones who are at the top of the NBA on the Eastern and Western Conference. And then they have what? They have guys who are role players who can shoot the basketball. Because when you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they've got Giannis. He can do, he can just pound. He's just a beast. They've got the big fella Lopez coming back. He can knock down shots outside. Plus, he's a 7'2" guy. He can alter shots down low in the paint. So you have that. And then you got Drew Holiday running the point, doing all kinds of things for them, which was an upgrade from what they had before. So when you look at that, bam, what does that mean? You have them with the opportunity. Then you look at the Suns. The Suns they're big inside. They've got shooters all over the place. They've got a great point guard in Chris Paul. Because remember, Chris Paul a few years ago, the Thunder were in what? The playoffs in the bubble. We had a chance to beat Houston, remember? So you get the point guard, which we have in Shea, which gives us an ample opportunity to do all the little things that we need to do for that. And then you got Josh Giddey, who's arguably one of the top 5 rookies out there, and he was vying for the Rookie of the Year. Whether he'd have won it or not, I don't know, but he was definitely in the top 5 or 4 or 5 as far as vote getting and who should have been considered for Rookie of the Year. He was fantastic of what he did. For sure, to me, he probably would have been the rookie in the West, Rookie of the Year in the West, because he had what 4 months, 3 months that he was Rookie of the Year or Rookie of the Month. So that says a lot about Josh and what he has. Then of course you got Lou Dort, who can come off the bench. I think he needs to be coming off the bench. That's a good player. Then you got Trey Mann coming off the bench. You got those. So those are your 4 guards right there. You got Aaron Wiggins and Robinson Earl. I think you can move Robinson Earl to power forward at that point. And you've got Wiggins at 3. So you get a couple big guys in there that can actually block shots. That can be intimidating. I think the Thunder could get. Like I said, Banchero is my favorite of who the guy that I think we can have because he can dribble the ball. He's a Poku with size and athleticism. That's what he is. He's big. He can have the ball. He can pass the ball. He can shoot the 3. And unlike Poku, he can actually get inside and defend. The Poku can't defend. So when I look at that, that's where I look at, and that's where I see the NBA draft. But like we said, it all comes down to the playing games. We gotta all be uh, Pelicans fans. We want the Clippers to lose. Thank you, Minnesota, for giving us the first leg and giving us the opportunity. Now, let's go ahead and hopefully the Pelicans can come through and have a huge game and beat them because, like I said, man, do you know what that would mean for us getting 2 guys in the top? If we could get 2 guys, I mean, we'll have 2 picks, 12th pick, 12th best chance to get the number 1 overall pick, 4th best chance to get the number 1 overall pick. And like I said, had we not gone 4-6 in our last 10 games, we could have been 1 or 2. Because there's only 2 games separating, or 4 games separating 1 and 4. So we were right there. Still don't know how the hell we beat Portland. I still don't know how we beat them with the roster we had. Last year, remember, the same thing happened. Let's play our good players instead of benching them and playing guys who are trying to get on tape, get some tape, playing as absolutely hard as they can. They want to win games. They don't want to go lose. They don't want to lose games. So maybe let's rethink how we do that next year and go, hey, guys, we need to lose this in order to get better. Because like I said, SGA, if you don't get some people, he gone. Then what you going to do? No more project players. You got Baisley and Poku. Those are your projects. Forget that. Get nobody else. Send them down to the G League, make them 2-way players. Let them come up every now and then and be your 8, your 9, and 10 guys off the bench. That's what they are. They're not your top 5 guys in your top rotation. That's neither one of them are there. And if that's what you're thinking, Oklahoma City Thunder, you're high. And if you go get Chet Holmgren, Chet, whatever his name is, from Gonzaga, you're going to be in the same well. He is not Kevin Durant. He's more of a Porzingis. And Porzingis burned bright for 1 year and he was done. 2 years tops. He's out. So let's go get guys we know have the opportunity to give us play, not another project. We got one. It's time for us to start drafting back like we did a few years ago, like we did last year. You got 4 guys, 3 of them started. Now, do I see 3 of those guys starting this year, depending on what we are in the draft? No. But remember, we're going to have 2 chances to get the number 1 overall draft. Now, it would be great if we went 1-2, and I know exactly who we get. We'll talk about that later as well. So, anyway, I spoke yesterday at the West Rotary Club meeting. My boy Mark Long invited me to come out and be the guest speaker. And so I spoke about, what it was like to get hurt and how that happened with me with the draft and post-draft and with the Jazz and all that. And what I did with my life afterwards. But I had some interesting questions about the NIL and what I thought about it, and and I think about it the same way. The NIL, all it did is people who were getting paid before are now getting paid in the open. That's the only difference. Now, is it crazy out of hand? Yes. Do there needs to be some more regulations on it? Yeah. But people were getting paid before, and now they're just getting paid open with no penalties. That's the only difference. And as far as transferring the open portal, the draft portal, I think you should leave. If you want to leave after the year is up, yes. Should you leave during the year? No. But once the year is up, yeah. I mean, coaches can leave. And somebody made a comment about, well, they're grown men. And you're obviously somebody who didn't play, who weren't highly recruited. If you're a highly recruited guy and you have multiple options, you go to that school because of that coach. You don't go to the school because of the school. I didn't went to Oklahoma State because of the coach Killingsworth. I did not go because it was Oklahoma State. And because of what Coach Bliss, when he was at OU, told me what he was going to do. So those options had nothing to do with me. It wasn't about the school, it was about the coach. And what is he going to do for me? How is he going to help me excel? What positions is he going to put me in? That's why I went to school there. That's why these kids go to school there. And if a kid goes to a mid-major and he all of a sudden blossoms, he's a late bloomer, and he wants to go to a Division I school or a bigger school, then by all means do that. Now, if I was him, I wouldn't do that because now all of a sudden you're going against 4 and 5-star guys. It's going to be hard if you get a spot. Instead of staying where you are, where you made a name for yourself, you're playing in a system that fits your skill set. And you will get more time because trust me, the NBA and the NFL, it doesn't matter where you go to school. It does, but it doesn't. Now, granted, I saw a deal where OU has the ninth most players put in the NFL since 2000, whatever it was. And Alabama and Georgia and all them are up there. But at the end of the day, they will find you. They will find you if you can play. So I tell every kid in high school, go to a school that whatever system they have fits you and your style of play and gets you the best chance to succeed at the next level. Whatever school that is, doesn't matter. It's about who the coach is and does their system, their scheme fit your play. That's all it comes down to. That's different when I had one of my kids who went to Harvard. Hell yeah, go to Harvard, bro. Because remember, sports is what you do, not who you are. Let me say that again. Sports is what you do, it's not who you are. And if sports is who you are, when it's over with, you're not going to know what to do with yourself at 28 years old or 30 years old or 25 years old. Because remember, life expectancy is 4 to 5 years. So you're basically 26 years old and you're out of professional sports. Then what? Or you're 30 years old. Then what? You're still a young person, a young man, young woman. You better have something else going on. So use sports as a tool. That's all it is. Use it as a tool to prepare you to get you ready for the next level. That's all it is. So, that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching the show today. The Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Oh, well, hold on. Let me say, I almost forgot. Let me get my boy, HuskerDrewPicks.com. Sorry, Drew. But anyway, here's his picks for, remember, tomorrow night are the Hawks and the Pelicans. He's taking the Pelicans +4, which means that the Clippers are the favorite to win that by -4. And then the Hawks are -2, which that means they're favorite to win their game over the Cavaliers. Of course, today games, he's got the Brewers -142, the Sox +101, and his beloved Braves +105. And he loves those damn Braves. I mean, his team, sometimes I wonder about him because his teams are the Cowboys, the Cornhuskers, clearly because of the Cornhusker, and the Lakers are his teams. Cowboys, Lakers, Braves. Now, of course, the Braves won the championship last year, so he's still reeling from that excitement and that wonder deal. So, but anyway, like I said, go check out my boy, HuskerDrewPicks.com. He's got great picks. He's on a roll lately. He's just been absolutely killing it. So by all means, go check him out and see what you can do with that. And once again, everybody be safe out there. Peace.